What is the 1-year filing deadline? If you are seeking asylum, you will have 1 year from the day that you enter the U.S. to submit your asylum application, Form I-589, to the U.S. government. If you do not submit your asylum application to the court within 1 year, you will no longer be eligible for asylum. For example, if you entered the U.S. on July 13, 2021, you must submit your asylum application before or on July 13th of 2022. It is your responsibility to make every effort to submit your application within 1 year of the date you entered the U.S. If you entered the U.S. via humanitarian parole, your parole status will likely expire after 1 year. If you have not submitted your asylum application by then, you could be without a legal status and could be deported from the U.S. Once you have entered the U.S., border officials should send your case to the immigration court, which is called EOIR, Executive Office for Immigration Review. You should then have a court date scheduled. You can check the status of your case and check for when your date is scheduled by entering your A number into the EOIR online portal. Your A number is a 9-digit number that begins with the letter A. You should be able to find it on any immigration papers you have received. Sometimes, having your case filed within the court system and having a court date scheduled can take a long time. It could take 6 months or more for your case to show up in the EOIR portal. If you have a court date that is scheduled within the 1-year deadline timeframe, you should fill out your asylum application and submit it in person at the court date. If you have a court date that is scheduled for after the year deadline, for example, you entered on July 13th, 2021, but your court date is scheduled for August 13th of 2022, you will need to file your asylum application before your court date so that you don't miss the year deadline. You can do this by filling out your application and turning it in at the immigration courthouse your case is scheduled at, or by mailing it to the court. If your case does not appear in the EOIR portal, and you have not received a court date via mail, this means your case has not yet been filed. You can't submit your asylum application to the court system until your case has been filed. Sometimes it takes so long for cases to be filed that you will not be able to submit your asylum application to the court within the 1-year deadline. Even though this is unfair, it can still make you ineligible for asylum if you do not submit an asylum application within the 1-year deadline. If you are getting close to the year deadline and your case is still not appearing in the EOIR portal, you should still make every effort to submit your application within the year deadline. It is possible that a judge will grant you an extension in the future, meaning they might give you more time to submit your application. When asking for an extension, it might help to show that you tried every possibility to submit your application even though your case has not been filed. You can take screenshots that show the dates of all the times you checked the EOIR system and your case did not appear. You can also attempt to submit your application to the USCIS, the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, which is a different branch of immigration government. The USCIS processes a different kind of asylum application, so you have to be prepared that they are likely to reject your application. However, this could be used as evidence to show the judge that you tried to submit your application within the year deadline, when you are asking for extra time to submit your application. There is no guarantee that the judge will consider either of these to be sufficient evidence of why you did not file before the deadline, but it is always better to have documentation that you tried. To summarize, you must do your best to make every effort to submit your application before the year deadline. If you do not submit your application within the year deadline, you could become ineligible for asylum and could be deported. If you miss the year deadline for any reason, you should consult with an immigration attorney.